All right, so this is apologetics, and this is lesson 5, learning how to get your remote to work. Loving God with all your mind, how to defend your faith. So we've had 4 lessons so far. What we've covered so far is basically what is apologetics. It's a reasoned defense of Christianity. It's not an apology, it's a defense. We've talked about the believer's role in apologetics. We're always to be on the ready to give an answer to everyone who asks the reason for our hope, reason for our faith. We've talked about how that truth will do different things to a scoffer. It'll shut up the mouth of the scoffer. It'll tell the seeker to listen up. We've got something here that's coherent, that makes sense. And to the fainting, it tells them bolster up. If there's someone that's in the church and they're fainting, their reasoned apologetics will help them out. And then lesson 2, we covered blind faith versus true biblical faith. And we said blind faith is just trusting without any reason. Biblical faith is trusting in something you have a good reason to believe in. And we said that it's not that it's not that we can prove everything, but what we can prove, or what is true, what is reality, faith will never go against that, but it will go beyond that. And we said the bridge to get from blind faith to biblical faith are doubts. And doubts are not bad if they're true, genuine doubts. They're going to be the stepping stone. So when you evaluate your doubts, you dig down and you try to figure out and bolster those doubts up and figure out what's going on here. That's going to lead you to a reasoned belief, a reasoned, well thought through belief. And then lessons 3 and 4 were kind of together, and they were tools of the trade. We talked about contradictions, paradoxes, mysteries. We talked about worldviews, atheism. We talked about pantheism and New Age. And then we also talked about moral relativism. And then we talked about arguments, being able to discover or detect false arguments and to be able to find weak holes, and not only in our arguments, because we want to be able to bolster up our arguments, but find weak points in the scoffer's arguments so that we can bring them down. So today we're going to kind of get started really with some more meatier topics, and we're going to start, if you go swimming, kind of check out the water with your toes a little bit first. We've kind of been checking out the toes. We're going to kind of get ankle deep today, and then next time we meet, we'll probably be, just in over our heads or something. But lesson 5 is the existence of God. The existence of God. I'm going to assume all of us believe that God exists in here since we're in a church on Sunday morning. But not everyone, as we know, in the world believes that. And so, while proving the existence of God doesn't prove the existence of Yahweh or Jehovah or the God of the Bible, it does take away one of the arguments that the scoffers have. So that's what we are going to be talking about today. So really the ultimate question that man has to deal with is there a God? Now, we're going to take some steps, is there a God? Did he reveal himself through the Bible? Did he come in the form of the man Jesus? And we would all say yes to those. And we would say that you're really not fully in the God boat until we take that final step that Jesus is God. But really, as a starting point, the ultimate question is there a God? So our question is there a God? And really, this is a foundational question to all that we are. It's going to determine how our outlook on life. And every man and woman, as they walk on the earth, they have to answer this question. And how they answer it will affect how they live now and for eternity. It will affect how they live now and for eternity. But how they answer, it's not really on an individual basis, not that important. What's really important is what's true. So truth is more important than what an individual thinks. Truth is more important than what an individual thinks. So we really want to hone in on what is truth. So that question, is there a God, If in reality the answer is no, there is no God, then that answer has some consequences. We are alone in a mindless universe. If there is no God, we are alone in a mindless universe. I tried to get some sound effects today, and so you can just imagine some crickets. There, okay. We're alone. There's nothing caring for us. There's nothing going to save us from the supernova and the galaxy over. That's just all. We're at the mercy of random process, and that's kind of scary. If there is no God, there is no good. And there is no evil. There is no good, and there is no evil. And to kind of think of what it would be like if there was no good or no evil, if I were to come out to this section here at Hardee's and find there an elderly lady trying to cross the road, if I were to push her down in front of traffic or help her across, those are the same actions. There's no difference. There's no good, there's no evil. In fact, an evolutionist would say, whatever would help me survive best is what would be good. So if it would help me survive best to throw a woman down in front of traffic and then leave her there, then that's fine. That's what's good. If it's survival of the species, right? That's an abhorrent view of the world, right? And no one acts like there is no good or evil, but some people say that there is no good and no evil. But that would be a consequence if there is no God. There's no good and there is no evil. If, however, the answer is yes, there is a God, then of course that has consequences. We are the result of God's actions. We are the result of God's actions. There is good and evil. So we can make a value judgment between my actions. We can say that is evil and you shouldn't have done it. That is good. Way to go. Kudos. And if there is a God, we should do all that we can to learn about Him. Shouldn't we? We should pursue Him. See if He cares about us. See if He knows about us now. See if He's still on the throne. So we're the result of God's actions. There is good and evil, and we should do all that we can to learn about Him.